So thanks for your Zoom call.
Mhm.
I'm very happy to connect with you. Very few people in my life I would like to reflect on. Uh, you've been with us at Kodai. You are doing as a teacher. During your teaching time or after your teaching time, voluntarily you are very much associated with what you have started at Kodai, with Kodai International School. So you visited plenty of schools, plenty of business units with us to make change in waste management. So now we are started receiving results. So I really wanted to appreciate it. I really wanted to acknowledge it, and we are here to share some of our experience. Hope many pioneers in waste management, youngsters like us, may get few inspiration or ideology to make better world.
Mhm.
So please, Siti, share about you, what are you presently, what is your commitment, and you can share about Cody, your association with Kodaikanal and India also.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Iti. I think everybody who's watching this might not know who I am or where I'm from. I was born and raised in Kodaikanal, South India. It's a small hill station that's really well known for its landscape and nature, and it has a lot of tourism, hotels, and resorts. So that's where I grew up, and I learned a lot about the environment and the importance of conservation and forest management, for example, or just sustainability, mostly through being at Code School as a student, because it was taught a lot in school classes, as well as through my family. And for example, my parents are really passionate about this as well. So I have just been raised thinking about this issue a lot. And so now as an adult, it's also very important to me. And I try to be really sustainable in all of the aspects of my life.
Good evening. As you said, Kodai International School as well as Kodaikanal,
Mhm.
the both place, it is very perfect to know about our surrounding,
Mhm.
environment, nature, the interconnection with nature and human being. So Kodaikanal is being part of Palani Hills,
Mhm.
Western Ghats.
Mhm.
uh, we can easily understand the power of nature, the ecology, mountain ecosystem, and then what kind of better place we can get when compared to Code International School. The experience we get for
Yeah.
lifetime.
Yeah.
So wonderful it is.
Yeah.
So let me come to the point directly. Not only theoretically, you have graduation in environment, also, at grassroots level you work, in India, I'm telling very specifically,
Mhm.
because when Kodai International School started a mass movement in Kodaikanal, like they wanted to introduce other schools of Kodaikanal about implementing sustainable waste management system,
Mhm.
and then they were trying to do with gated communities also.
Right.
So at grassroots level, you involved yourself, educating, training people on waste
Mhm.
management, and then making infrastructure for local schools, and
Mhm.
then for policy making also. Like we had several brainstorming session, like with
Mhm.
Dr. Meloni,
Mhm.
school principal and all. Like we
Mhm.
always speak about, how to empower local community, all those stuff.
Mhm.
So please, what we expect from you. You know the reality of Indian waste management system broadly, environmental issue.
Mhm.
Now you're at Western country, the state,
Mhm.
and you must be experiencing like how people or government or private bodies doing waste management.
Mhm.
So what is the difference between India and Western countries when it comes to waste management, especially solid waste management?
Yeah, that's a great question. And there are so many differences. But I would say the biggest thing is that I think the Western countries, or specifically the US and India, have very different problems. They both have problems when it comes to waste management. Like, for example, in the US, we have a really good infrastructure and we have the investment and the systems and policies in place to manage waste such that people that live in apartment buildings or homes don't really have to think about it. You just sort of put the trash out in front of your house and then somebody comes and collects it, and then you don't really think about it after that. And so there's a really good infrastructure, and especially enforcement of policies and rules and regulations. For example, if you don't do things correctly, you could get a fine, and that's enforced, so people follow the rules. Versus in India, I don't think, this is just based on my experiences having lived in Kodi, is that the infrastructure is more lacking. But on an individual basis, I think the problem there is about infrastructure, but on an individual basis, people are far more, I think, um, have more sustainable lifestyles, is what I would say. So I think that's something that we should all recognize and appreciate about one of the strengths that I think the culture and the society that's present in India, which is not present here in the US. People here are far more consumerist. They produce a lot more waste per person, and they don't really think about, you know, reducing waste, reducing consumption, reducing buying things that you don't need. And I think that that's not a problem in the interactions I've had with people in my hometown in India. And so
Correct.
I guess, like, in conclusion, the problem in the US is about individual choice and consumption, while the infrastructure is there to manage the large amount of waste that's produced here. In India, per person, production is very, very low. It's like 400 grams per person per day. And there's just not an infrastructure to manage it. Versus in the US, I think there's per person per day, people produce about 4 to 5 kgs of waste. So it's a really big problem, and different problems in both countries.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Like you're telling two different issues. One is people, the waste producer, the
Yeah.
waste generator,
Hmm.
and then the system, like the infrastructure.
Hmm.
So as you told, India, many people, many of us know, we are highly aware of waste issue, and
Hmm.
many sincere, committed citizens, they are started, kind of making some change in their lifestyle.
Hmm.
Many are started avoiding or preventing waste. Also, many households started segregating their waste,
Hmm.
like biodegradable, non-biodegradable, and special waste.
Hmm.
Also, Indian government, they gave clear rule and regulation. Like we have different rules
Hmm.
for managing municipal waste, like municipal waste management rule, plastic waste management rule,
Hmm.
biomedical waste management rule,
Hmm.
e-waste management, construction waste management, agricultural and horticultural waste management. So all these rules and regulations, are clearly directing the waste generator, like how
Hmm.
to segregate what different type of waste,
Hmm.
present at any generator,
Hmm.
how it has to be segregated, how it has to be stored at source. But
Hmm.
when it comes to the processing facility, like recycling, waste to energy, all those stuff, we are still kind of, trying to ourselves. So the aspect of waste management, people and the technology.
Hmm.
So one interesting question it is,
Hmm.
like if you wanted to change something at ground, in India, apart from technology, is there anything else? Like I tell you one thing, like recently, one of the municipality in India, Chennai municipality,
Hmm.
they ask people to pay for getting service, like to collect their waste. But
Yeah.
many people are thinking, why I have to pay for collecting my solid waste? End of the day, it is waste. It is government duty to provide. You
Hmm.
know. So, what is your opinion about use of fee when it comes to Indian scenario?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think that if we want to improve the systems, you know, you have to pay for it. And you should think about it, individuals, families, households should think about it the same way they think about paying for other utilities. Like you pay for your water, you pay for your energy consumption, electricity. You know, sometimes if in some apartment buildings, if you have a parking space, you have to pay for the parking space. So similarly, I think that we should normalize this concept of paying for waste management, because that's the only way that I think that program can be funded. And it can just be added to, like in apartment buildings, I think it can be done pretty easily, because if a person, like a tenant moves in, you can just add it into the contract or the lease, and then it's just paid every month. So I think that that's probably something that needs to be normalized and accepted, you know, across across the world. Like here in the US, it's also paid for in different ways. Like some people pay a private company to pick up their waste. In my apartment building, every month I pay a fee. So it just has to be added to utilities, and that way it can be paid for.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So some of us are sincerely arguing with government,
Hmm.
like this is solid waste, garbage.
Hmm.
So in what basis I can pay, whether it is quantity based or volume based or quality based. So can you tell us a little bit like how this use of fee system works in United States?
Yeah. So it's a fixed fee. It's not really that fluctuative, except in specific situations. So there's just a fixed fee per month for you pay. I mean, in my case, I pay my building and they take care of it. And so every day, a big truck comes and collects the trash from this building. And if you own a house, then every quarter or month, you get billed from the county or the municipality. It's a small fee. It's a very small fee for normal waste and recycling pickup. And also what's common here in the US is lawn waste. So mowing the lawn, the grass cuttings, and wood chips, leaves, those things, they collect recyclables and trash, like household trash. If you have some large items like a refrigerator or like a television or something big, you can call the county and request a pickup, and then for that additional pickup there's a fee, like a small fee. No, it's not too expensive. Alternatively, if you have a car, you can put it in your car and drive it to the facility, and that way it would be free to drop it off. So there is charges to like specific things. If you have something that's a very large size or heavy, you have to pay more, but otherwise it's fixed. And it's just billed to you from the county on a regular basis.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
So now I clearly understand like how the use of fee works at United States. It is
Hmm.
not just randomly kept. I think people must have done a lot of research, like door-to-door service,
Maybe.
drop-off facility, different different type of waste actually.
Hmm.
So it is very fantastic. So before imposing use of fee on community, I think government or private sector should do clear research
Yeah.
on what how people have to pay for what, all those stuff.
Yeah.
Very perfect. And one interesting, very curiously I'm asking, what is people perception, attitude, or willingness towards paying user fee at your country? Like people are happily paying or people are complaining? What is their perception?
Honestly, there's not much discussion on this. Like I think you're the only
Oh,
person I've talked to about this ever. It should be talked about more, actually. You bring up a really good point. For example, in my building, I pay $10 a month. That's a trash fee. And it was in my lease, and I didn't really think about it. I just accepted it. And I think most people just accept it because it's not a huge burden. It's not a huge expense, and you have to find a way to like, get rid of the waste in your house. So I don't think people complain much. I think it's just accepted.
very good, very good. Because as a waste manager, there is a misconcept in India, like waste is wealth. You can do all type of aspects of sustainable waste management by selling someone's waste. Like
Hmm.
by doing recycling or composting, we
Hmm.
can get huge money.
Hmm.
But many people forget, like we generate special waste, no?
Hmm.
Household hazardous waste,
Hmm.
sanitary waste, clinical waste, e-waste, all those things, no. To dispose it, we need some kind of scientific facility.
Hmm.
So for treating somebody's waste, private sector need at least, decent money from the waste generator.
Yeah.
So that concept is not there. I think if people know what is exactly waste management, it is not about selling your waste. It is sending your waste to responsible recycler. Then
Yeah.
people, willing to pay for the service.
Yeah.
Also, the environmental pollution associated with inappropriate waste disposal, and then repairing cost of our environment. Like if people are
Hmm.
burning or burying, our natural resources are getting polluted. So that cost, if people are comparing with what they pay, then
Yeah.
people will be happily paying for this service.
Yes. Yeah.
So thank you, Edie. This was really good, actually. So one more interesting question, like as we, discussed like people and system. So I am understanding the people's concept here. Like India is growing, like we are literally getting the point actually. Many of us are well literate, and then we are getting awareness also. We are trying to train ourselves to manage our waste. But when it comes to system, the technology, we are lagging. Do you think we can mimic the Western model of recycling or composting?
Um, I think the quick answer to that question is no. And I think the reason is because of the differences in the problems that are present in waste management in India versus the US. So I don't think that anybody who's working on, waste management policy in Tamil Nadu or in India should really look to mimic, the West or the US, but rather what they should do is really invest in um, doing research at what is the root cause of the issues in your local community and finding a solution for what's specific to that community. And I think, for example, in Kodi, because of the uniqueness of how it's a hill station and there's no large recycling facility on top of the mountains, for example, like there has to be a system that's specific to Kodi. Like what would happen to the waste? Does it go down in trucks, or do we build a waste facility in the hill station? So those kinds of issues are very specific to the local community and the people and what problems they're facing. Another issue that's very specific to Kodi is how, again, because it's a hill station and water flows downhill, there's a lot of waste that gets taken down when it rains, to various villages and households through the streams and rivers. And so, like, that's another very specific thing to Kodi, and educating people about how if you litter, then it's your waste is going downstream and affecting other people's drinking water. And just having discussions with local people about what is happening in their community and their local area, I think, is what can make the biggest impact.
Very good, Iti. So kind of we can take inspiration from successful case studies like Western countries.
Yeah.
But we have to make our own system.
Right.
I 100% accept it because the rapid population growth in India, rapid urbanization also, and then the consumption pattern, it is changing. Like now, after this online purchases are started happening in India, we are getting different type of packaging materials. So as you said, we can understand the Western model of waste management, but we have to create our own system by understanding the local issue, local resources, and then the management aspects. Very perfect. So now, please.
I was just going to say, it's good to research and look and learn about what other countries are doing, but you have to take that and then adapt it to your needs.
Perfect. So now, very specific question. Like you've been part of Kodai community. Like Kodai community is very small when compared to any other mountain cities actually. And not only you enjoy the Kodai resources, also you contributed back. So what my question is, like, what is the scenario in Kodai now? When it comes to waste management, or generally about environment, nature. So from your childhood, you are seeing Kodai is changing slowly or rapidly. What is your opinion about a Kodai environment and waste management issue?
Yeah. So again, Kodi is basically, like, I think the term now being used is Sky Island, meaning it's a very unique biodiverse hotspot in Tamil Nadu in the Ghats. And so when I think about the waste management there, I see that there is room for improvement, especially because as India's population has grown and people have had more expendable income, there's more industry, there's more restaurants, hotels, shops, tourists. So a lot of that has grown since, over the past 20 years while I've lived in Kodi. But at the same time, the rate of, like, I guess, waste management maybe hasn't kept up with the growth of the town or the city or the population. So I think that there is room for improvement. It requires a lot of work from people like you, to, really communicate the importance and educate people about waste management, and especially speaking with policymakers, like the people in charge of making decisions and people who are in power in Kodi. They need to speak and learn from people like you. That's what I think.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. So now in recent past, many volunteers or NGOs,
Mhm.
wanted to make Kodi environment a more, standard one. So many are trying to do waste management. They are talking about lake, invasive species, regulating tourist, all those stuff. So one very interesting, implemented project by UN Code International School, because in recent past, I'm witnessing the result. I'm your witness. Okay, I'm witnessing the result. Like after the implementation, almost 70 to 80 percentage of PET bottle production at Code International School
Mm.
has been minimized, avoided. It is a huge impact, because as a waste manager, not only it minimizes my duty, also the pollution associated with collecting PET bottle, transporting it to recycling industry, and then while recycling it, how much pollution, all those things have been avoided. Can you share the successful case study about Code International School on avoiding PET water bottles?
Yeah, sure. So that was kind of like my passion project, while I was a teacher at Kote School. As a self-identified environmentalist, it really bothered me to see how students or people in my community were consuming throwaway water bottles and not really thinking about the environmental impact of it, because of the resources that it takes to make that bottle, to fill it with water, and then bring it to Kobe. It requires a lot of resources, and then you use it once and throw it away. And then it lasts on Earth for over 500 years. So that sort of really bothered me to see people using regularly, especially students, buying bottles of water, like after lunch or after exercising. And so to target that specific problem, what I did was, I worked with you and other people at the school to identify how, like, what is the main cause that people are purchasing water bottles. So I did a survey of the student body, and I found out that they purchased bottles because it was convenient, because they just wanted water with them all the time. And it was not so much about, like, um, the quality of the water. The main reason was convenience, because there was no other infrastructure for, like, water fountains in our campus. So I worked with you and other environmental activists in our community to convince the school administration to put water fountains in really strategic places around the campus. So I think we built 12 water fountains, like next to the gym, next to the dining hall, next to like the football field and things like that. So what we did after that was to make this, like, exciting and fun and cool for the school kids to also be involved in, was we made, like, branded water bottles that we distributed for free to all the students. And I think that really got them on board in participating in this effort. So now every student has a bottle. There's water fountains all over the campus. And as you said, I think water bottle waste has reduced by 70 or 80%. So I think it was a really successful case that all of us have worked on.
Superbity,
Yeah.
superbity. Why I very much inspired or happy about this particular project. Not only the policy, also the backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like our school, we should thank our school. Like they never think it is a amateur people's project. Our students, our teachers are bringing it. They always value our information, knowledge, and then they give resources like the maintenance people, they gave water fountain, and then they are managing it
Mm-hmm.
even till today. It's been more than 1 year, we are managing it. And then the most successful part of the project is design, because many supportive staff, they came and they were asking me where I can get this water bottle. It looks very good, it looks pleasant, the colorful, and then the design of water bottle, and where you kept that water fountain, how you informed the community, as a teacher, you went each and everybody. I still remember you went all these classes, you informed the teachers, all the community. So it was, very great effort. And now we are getting the result. As I told you, it's huge improvement. If you come to Kodi International School, you can see our recycling center. You can see maybe 1 or 2 sacks of PET bottle. Before, no, whenever you visit our recycling center, it is full of PET bottle. So now people are understanding what is waste reduction, and you made it possible for, at their school life, they implemented it, they are being part of it. So it is really fantastic. So now, very importantly, we have done city-based waste stream analysis for Kodi International, for Kodaikanal.
Okay.
So the Kodaikanal town's waste, if you make top 10 dry waste produced by tourists, the second top 10 waste, it is again PET bottle. So we were thinking, since Kodi International School always, spread happiness, information to local community, do you have any plan, like can we mimic the same thing to Kodaikanal city to minimize, tourist waste print?
Yeah. I think that is a really important initiative to take on, because Kodi School is a very small, confined community, and the success that we have seen there, it should definitely be expanded to the broader Kodai community. And so I think one place to start would be with hotels, because they are private, private entities. They're not part of the city, and they have the resources to provide safe, clean drinking water to all of the people that come and stay at their stay at the hotels. So I think that same model could be mimicked in the private sector in Kodi, especially the tourism industry. So you and I should work with hotels to tell them about the success that Kodi School experienced, and how that they can make a similar model by installing water fountains, informing and educating tourists when they come about the importance of avoiding throwaway plastic bottles, and proving to them that they have an alternative that works just as well. And I think that something like this that comes from a hotel can also be part of the experience of visiting Kodi. Like, you don't go to Kodaikanal like just to see the beauty and then not really think about what's your impact on the nature and the environment. So making that part of the tourist's experience, going to a hotel, learning about how the hotel is being sustainable, and the management that they have for waste, energy is very sustainable, can make people feel like they're more part of the community and have a more meaningful tourist experience as well. Yeah.
Super. It is really fantastic idea. Not only serving for environment or nature, being considering Kodaikanal is a tourism place, engaging with the tourists and tourist-related industry, and then we are not spoiling their experience. In fact, we are trying to give new experience for tourists. And I am very much positive about your plan, because Kodaikanal, has many green hoteliers. Like many hoteliers here, they already practice or they wanted to practice. Very good people around. So maybe as a policy maker now, you graduated, you can make good policy. So make a policy, again, make a design. We can work together. I'm here to do the grassroots level, work. I can speak to hoteliers. I can send you the ground realities. We can meet a couple of primary stakeholders, and when time comes, I'm sure we will launch the same similar program to tourists also.
Yeah.
So thank you, Viti. This is really fantastic. So my main consideration is like two different systems. Like one is an Western country and then India. So both places you considered as your hometown, motherland, and wherever you are, you always contribute something. That is what I am impressed about. So thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your inspiration for all. And please, the ending note should be yours. So hope soon you're going to, you will consider to join with us,
Yeah.
and we will work more for coding in broad nature and, human well-beings.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rajamanikam. I've learned so much from you, especially in the 2 years that I worked with you in Cody. And I genuinely have noticed a lot of improvements in people's attitudes towards sustainability and environment because of the work you have done. And Lakshmi and the whole team that Cody School has put together to do community outreach in terms of environment and sustainability. So the efforts that you have put in are noticeable, and it's slow, but it will, it is successful, and I see that we have a bright future, and I really look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot to Coding International School for giving this platform. And then, they gave all the resources to support Coding community. And we
Mm-hmm.
are genuinely working for the school, and being with you and getting you as a colleague, it is a kind of blessing. So thank you once again. Convey my regards to Dr. Meloni and family, and all the very best for your future. Happy New Year, ET. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.